This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is Vanessa Marshall, Harrison Dula from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
Joining us today for a cup of coffee to discuss Star Wars Visions is the Coffee with Kenobi animation expert and one of my best buddies in the galaxy, Drew Taylor. Drew, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Is this on the main feed or is this a Patreon episode? That's really my big question.
This is the main feed, man.
Yes.
Nothing but the main one for someone of your caliber, of your ilk.
I love it. I'm so happy to be here and to talk about Star Wars Visions. It seems like a really cool, exciting property. And I can't wait to hear what you thought about it, because we haven't really talked that much. I think we texted a little bit when the trailer first came out, but we haven't gone into depth. So this will be a new conversation for both of us.
That's right, exactly. And we always try to find ways that you and I can collaborate, because we just have a good time chatting, no matter what the topic is. But it turns out that Star Wars is a good vessel for Coffee with Kenobi. Now, before the trailer started, back when we had they had the big breakdown of all the things coming from the world from Disney, Star Wars, Marvel. They had all, that big shareholders meeting, and they introduced this idea of Star Wars Visions. What was your initial reaction to the concept of this project?
I was very excited because I've always thought this would be a great vessel for some kind of offbeat animation. I'm honestly very surprised that there hasn't been like a Pixar Star Wars movie by now or something like that. So I always thought it would be great. I've had an idea that you could do some kind of like Miyazaki style Star Wars thing. So just knowing that they were teaming with some of the most exciting animation studios in Japan, which is I think what they said at the shareholders day thing, but didn't actually disclose what studios were doing them, and then to find out what the studios were, it's just it's really cool. I was very excited, and then obviously seeing this has me even more excited.
Yeah, so when I first heard it, I thought, okay, and this sounds cool, it sounds interesting, but to me, like, I don't know much about anime. I saw Vampire Hunter D. I've seen like some of the
Akira.
Classics.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. But of course, there's something of a cultural disconnect, I think, if you're not completely used to what anime is and what it's about. So I'm hopeful that you'll be able to explain kind of sort of what anime is and how is it different from traditional American animation, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest difference, I guess, in terms of Western versus anime, which is typically Japanese animation, but obviously there are studios in Korea and Singapore and things like that. But anime is sort of typified by mature themes, more adult subject matter, sort of a reluctance to put animation in a kiddie box. Although certainly there are tons of Japanese animated films that everybody can enjoy, like all of the Miyazaki movies, which I would be very surprised if you and your family have not watched at least one. But yeah, I mean, this is they treat animation very differently over there, and it's obviously a huge export. I think that this was actually a direct response to Netflix's investment in anime. They have so much anime stuff going on over there. So I think this was sort of Disney never wants to react to anything. They're always the ones setting the bar, but this definitely felt like a reaction to that.
Interesting. So anime, you just taught me a lot in a brief amount of time. Anime means more like mature. I thought doesn't mean like Japanese animation, or is it kind of
it is Japanese animation. Like I said, some other countries, Eastern countries, but their willingness to explore more mature themes, to make more adult programming, is what sets it apart, I would say, from Western animation, which has almost exclusively been for a family audience. Certainly in the theatrical sphere, it's almost exclusively for family audiences. You have things like, once in a while there'll be like a sausage party or something will come out.
Yes.
But
that family Yuletide traditional.
Yeah, I know you guys love it. So yeah, I mean, that is it. I think you're going to see that kind of maturity reflected in the stories that are in Star Wars Visions. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like a kind of watered down version of anime at all, especially with like I said, the studios that they partnered with are really exciting. And so, yeah.
So that's okay. That helps. So I want to read a small excerpt from James Waz, the executive producer and Lucasfilm vice president of franchise content and strategy. What he says on StarWars.com is that Lucasfilm is partnering with 7 of the most talented anime studios in Japan to bring their signature style and unique vision of the Star Wars galaxy to this inspired new series. Their stories showcase the full spectrum of bold storytelling found across Japanese animation, each told with a freshness and voice that expands our understanding of what a Star Wars story can be and celebrates a galaxy that has been such an inspiration to so many visionary storytellers. Now, on StarWars.com, they've got the full list. So when this originally airs, if I'm understanding this press release correctly, all of them are going to drop at the same time, and you're going to have the shorts in original Japanese, and then you're also going to have an English dub. So not only do we have an amazing series of animation studios, but these casts are pretty spectacular. I guess let's talk about the studios originally. You talked about how there's some really good studios. I kind of fill us in on maybe what some of these studios have done before and what they're known for.
Right. Well, I think the one that is probably or the one that is probably the most I guess well known to Western audiences maybe is Production IG, and you will know them, Dan, because they did the little animated section from Kill Bill Volume 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
So they did that whole thing, and then obviously they've done things like Ghost in the Shell and Fooly Cooly, which is a sort of cult anime series. But yeah, I think they also did part of the Animatrix. Do you remember that? That it was like an anime. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, they've done things like Jinro the Wolf Brigade, which people love and had a really cool live action remake a few years ago. Miss Hokusai, which is a really wonderful drama that came out a few years ago. They're just great. So I think that is probably maybe the one that people will know more if you've never seen anime or only intermittently seen anime, just because of their work on Kill Bill. So that's the one that I'm very excited about as well. We have Geno Studios, which has done a bunch of stuff, a bunch of television series over there, but it's still relatively new. They did 2, I think. They have a couple of studios, and one studio is doing two of the shorts, which we don't know how long they are yet either, do we?
Okay. No, there's no mention.
So I don't know. Hopefully they will be longer than the Goofy shorts. I don't know if you tried to watch those.
I have, and less painful than the Chip and Dale shorts.
Right. I like the Chip. You don't like the Chip and Dale shorts?
I love them, but they are bonkers.
They are bonkers. I know.
Mason and I love them. They are loony, but really entertaining.
Yeah, they're really fun. Very French.
Kind of reminds me of you and I when we hang out.
It really is. We are always hiding walnuts from Pluto and all sorts of other things. So one of the other studios is Studio Trigger, which has done a bunch of TV shows and movies over there. Most notably, maybe Little Witch Academia, which makes me think they might have done the one with the girl with the kind of half rabbit woman. I
was wondering about that. Yeah.
Cinema Citrus is another one. They do things like Made in Abyss and Black Bullets, and Science Saru is another one that they really push hand-drawn animation, which I love. and have done a bunch of feature films over there, including The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, which is it won an award at Annecy, and Lou Over the Wall, which if you liked Luca, which I know you did, that might be one to seek out. So anyway, those are some of the animation studios bringing Star Wars visions to life.
See, I'm so glad that I have you on, because you speak this language, my friend. That's why you're the best in the business with this stuff, honestly. So not only is this outstanding, but the voice cast, the English dub cast, I mean, we've got Lucy Liu, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bobby Moynihan, Tamira Morrison, Shelby Young, Mark Thompson, Neil Patrick Harris. The list goes on and on. Gosh, David Harbour is on here. Henry Golding. I mean, is there anybody that jumped out and you're like, wow, they really raised the bar here?
Well, I mean, seeing that Boba Fett was coming back and Tamara Morrison was voicing him was very exciting to me.
Yeah.
Bobby Moynihan has been like a great Star Wars. You remember the bombshell that I dropped for Coffee with Kenobi with him?
That's right. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. It's a lot of like people who
George
are
Takei.
What?
George Takei as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great. That's what I also like is like the kind of Japanese element is in there even in the English language cast, like Kerry Hiroki Tagawa, who people will remember. He's been in so many movies, but he's so awesome. He's in the English voice cast, but obviously still sort of representing Japan in a cool way. I don't know. I think that's neat. But yeah, I mean, I just saw Shang-Chi last week, so Simu Liu being a voice in one called The Ninth Jedi is very exciting. But yeah, they lined up. I mean, all the Japanese actors are amazing too. So I don't think you're going to get a bad deal regardless of what language you watch this in. So
agreed. And how will you watch it initially with the Japanese and then watch the English dub later, or how will you do it?
Yeah, I'll probably watch the Japanese first and then do the English dub. It's a lot easier to watch the English dub because you don't have to, if you're like doing something else or, sending emails or something, you can kind of keep a better eye on it. But I'm really excited. I just can't wait to see them all. Yeah.
And I do wish that they would sort of sparse them out, but it sounds like we're just going to get a big dump of Star Wars anime goodness, which is fine. So what we have done tonight is we have come up with, I have asked Mr. Taylor to come up with a top 5, and I've got top 5 too, top 5 things we love about this trailer, things that kind of blew us away. Now my list is in, least to most.
I just picked 5 things. I think we're going to have some overlap.
We might, but we'll have different ways of explaining it probably.
Yeah.
So why don't you go first? Give us, if you can think really quickly on your feet, and I know you can.
Yes.
Think of which one maybe has the least weight to you, but still is great.
Well, maybe just seeing the slave one back in action. I know that it's not. What is it called now? We don't have a name. It's just Boba Fett's ship.
Boba Fett's ship. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
just
what
seeing
it is
the
right now.
slave one in animated action. I mean, that Boba Fett came from the animated section of the Christmas special, which I think is on. Isn't it
on Disney Plus? It sure is. Yep.
So, I really love that kind of cyclical nature of returning to Boba Fett in animation, and I think it's great that we're getting hyped up for his show in December. So, I mean, that'll be here before we know it. I'm sure we'll be recapping those. Hopefully, you'll have me on. Maybe me and Clayton can come on and recap the.
That's right.
Boba Fett show, but
I think we can do that.
Yeah, that was maybe my least important. I just wrote these all down, so this is really a train of thought. But yeah, what about you?
Interestingly enough, I just wrote them all down, and it seems like I do this a lot with the Bad Batch too. I find that the first one I write down is my favorite, and the second one I happen to write down is my second. It just kind of seems to organically happen because whatever pops to my head first.
Okay.
But the one I wrote down last, which is my number 5. And I only picked this one. I feel like it's sort of a cheat because it's like the one that everybody is pointing to, and which is great. Obviously, I like to try to find a different approach, but it's hard to avoid the image of that that samurai Jedi taking the saber sort of out of the scabbard.
Yeah.
It's related to these great questions, our friends, the Def Prawns on Twitter have been talking about, is that like a Beskar scabbard or what is it? I don't really know what it is, but I'm pretty sure this is the samurai warrior that we're going to get a novel about in October as well.
Oh.
I believe it's the Ronin. I think this is the Ronin. At least it appears to be that way.
What time period is that novel supposed to be set? Is that High Republic?
I don't. It's revolved around this character. So So whenever it's called, the Duel. It's called The Duel. Star Wars Ronin: A Visions Novel by Emma Miyoko Kandon, if that's how I pronounce that correctly. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So I
didn't realize that this was part of a larger consumer products initiative, but I should have assumed that.
As it turns out, that works well in the Lucasfilm Disney world. So I, as far as I know, that's the only thing. So I think this character, and this is just pure assumption on my part, I mean, the look is great. I mean, I think we know the image I'm talking about. It's on StarWars.com. It says Ronin, voiced by Masaki Terasoma in Japanese and Brian T in the English dub. And that episode is called The Duel. But it's just a really nice looking image.
Well, that was on my list too. I mean, it was just basically black and white Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think it's really cool because George Lucas was very inspired by Star Wars. I mean, rewatching Hidden Fortress, it's like, oh my God.
It's crazy.
He literally lifted giant chunks sort of verbatim from that. Yep. And Kurosawa made many famous movies in black and white, like Seven Samurai and Ran and High and Low. So to see Star Wars in black and white, embracing this kind of Japanese feudal aesthetic, which he was very known for, that just had me really super jazzed. So I will throw my chip in there. That is on my list. So I thought, we could bring it up now, but yeah,
that's
really
your
great.
Number 4.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I love it. Well, my number 4, it's the second image in the trailer. It's hard to know how to categorize these things because there's so little we know about them. But the second image in this trailer is it's all black and white. And there's it's clearly some sort of a Jedi or some sort of a Force warrior walking, but it's dynamic. It's very textured and layered. For something that's black and white on a 2D canvas, so to speak. And I don't know. I mean, I could talk literature all day long, but I don't know animation anywhere near as well as you do. I just know when I saw that looked like a work of art. That looked like I was in for some dramatic storytelling. I don't know how you felt about that.
Yeah, I love it. That's basically, everything I was just saying. I was just blown away by that look and that feeling. And I actually didn't realize that this stuff was canonically Star Wars-y, but obviously
I'm not sure if it is or not.
There's a novel, maybe. I don't know.
It's hard to say because maybe it'll be a Legends. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It could be somewhere in the vast timeline. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'll be fun to see.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see them freed up a little bit. While we're talking about images, one of the images that I was really struck by was the blaster fire being sort of held by the Force, which we have not seen since Force Awakens, and was a really great, wonderful moment at the beginning when they're getting Poe out of that village and all that. But I really love that, and I am so glad to see it again.
That's a good one. And is it the same? Because there's a couple images of that. There's another one where it looks like someone is using the Force to hold these stun blasts, like these big blue circles. That was pretty slick too. I didn't make that. Didn't make my list, but it's definitely an honorable mention.
Yeah, so cool. Such a great image.
This is Vanessa Marshall, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi.
With travel beginning to open up and Walt Disney World and Disneyland reaching full capacity, this is the time to book your Disney World vacation with MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Their signature service and expert advice will help clients maximize their vacation, time, and dollar. I use Becky Menken and MEI's incredible services all the time, both for family and for travel for the show, because of their no cost, no obligation quote when you use the service. Plus, they proactively adjust a booking if the rate goes down. Literally, I will wake up one morning and I will get an email from MEI saying that the price went down, and I will get a refund sent to my credit card right away. I don't have to do anything. They help your family enjoy everything Galaxy's Edge and the Disney theme parks and the cruise lines have to offer. Can help you plan every detail and always share invaluable tips. That's for Walt Disney World, Disneyland, the Disney Cruise Lines, or other cruise lines. It doesn't have to be Disney related. They literally can help you plan a vacation anywhere on the planet. Be sure to go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel and sign up for a free no obligation quote to any of the Disney theme parks on the planet or any vacation that you have in mind. You'll have the best vacation possible and help out me and Coffee with Kenobi in the process. The next one I have on mine is the villain. I'm not talking about the creepy old guy that is referred to as the Elder. Although Mason's convinced that's like a Japanese version of the Emperor, and it very well may be. I mean, that's as good a guess as any. But there's an image of this, it looks like a Sith wearing some sort of a unique armored mask with a red lightsaber, of course. And then behind him, it looks like a tie similar to the one that Darth Maul had in the Phantom Menace. So I don't know who this villain is or what he's like, but I feel like creating a really cool, unique, authentic Sith red lightsaber wielding villain in Star Wars is very difficult, because when you've got Darth Vader, you've got arguably the best movie villain of all time. Kylo Ren is certainly no slouch either. That design, just purely the design of Kylo Ren is stunning. Certainly some Japanese influence on that. So when I saw this, I thought, wow, they've done it again. I don't know who this is or what's going to happen with the story, but that's a great look. Yeah.
Isn't there one where there's like somebody with multiple red lightsabers and stuff?
Yeah. There's like 8. Yeah. That's a very different style. This one looks a little more serious.
Okay. I think. Well, I mean, yeah, talking about characters, I think we have to talk about this rabbit girl. Do you know anything about? Okay, go ahead.
I don't know anything about it. I just think I thought this is definitely anime.
Yeah, it's cute, and I think in the live action movies of late, they've had an annoying tendency to replace a creature character with a droid character. I don't really know why, but you know, in that amazing Rogue One image, there were 2 great creatures that were supposed to be a part of the team that were sort of swapped out by K2. Mm-hmm. I don't know why that is an initiative that is being sort of forged behind the scenes, but it's great to see a creature is what I'm saying, and an alien character, and she looks very adorable, and I'm sure there will be copious amounts of plush and whatever else on the stores of the remaining Disney stores. You know, the shelves of the remaining Disney stores in across the country.
Maybe Batu will sell one.
Yes.
So the second one on my list, I wrote one word and I wrote bonkers.
Okay.
The whole thing looks crazy, in the best way possible. Like, it's, of course, I think anime, at least for me, the narrative sometimes can be a little tricky to follow, because I think there's just a lot more going on storytelling wise and culturally than a lot of us folks are used to. And I think that's great. I think it should push those boundaries of storytelling. This is clearly going to do that. But I watched it probably 4 or 5 times. And every time I watched it, I kept thinking, I feel like I was watching a tennis match. I'd never seen tennis before in my life. Like, it was sort of hard to follow, because there's a lot of different splices of stuff going on. They're showing a lot of snippets of a lot of great examples of what we're going to get to see on Disney Plus with Star Wars Visions. But it blew my mind that Star Wars blew my mind. And I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been watching Star Wars for, 40 plus years. So to see something that seems so fresh and so powerful, but yet you don't really understand what it is. Like, I'm here for something like that. I like that. I like my expectations to be challenged and subverted. And I'm just, that's why it's so high on my list, because I love that.
Yeah. I mean, my number one is just that it exists at all. I'm with
Oh,
you.
cool.
I think it's amazing that they did this. I think that it's the most exciting looking animation since Gendy's original Clone Wars micro shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that spirit of unexpected chaos and anything happening is really going to be carried forth in this because, it looks absolutely insane. And I love how little we know about it. I was trying to do some research before the show, and it's like, well, there seems like there's a musical episode on Tatooine set during a pod race. That's like one I think that is happening. But besides that, I have no idea. I mean, it's really amazing to have this thing be a month out basically and not know anything. I think that's really refreshing. I mean, we're so used to the slow drip of information, the Annie Leibovitz pictorial in Vanity Fair, and then the EW cover story, and getting all, and then by the time the movie comes out or whatever, so much about it. And the fact that this is pretty close drop, surprise drop, is really, really fun, I think.
I agree. I think it's a blast. I mentioned my last one, how it's just bonkers and seems so unfamiliar, but so enchanting at the same time. But my number one is something that's very familiar. There's two images of this box, but the second time they show the box, they slide it open and there's a new design of a lightsaber hilt. I mean, anybody who's ever watched CWK Live or has seen our stuff on Coffee with Kenobi social media, or just talk to me. I love lightsabers. I love lightsaber hilts. I love the designs. I love the aesthetic. I love everything about it. But this felt very sort of had an epic mythological conception about it. The way it slides open, you see it. There's something very mystical about it, like Maz Kanata's castle when Rey finds that lightsaber. I think in The Force Awakens, more than maybe any of the Star Wars movies, they show the lightsaber to be such a mythical talisman. Right. And I'm seeing that in those couple of shots towards the beginning of this trailer. And I thought, cool, even though there's going to be a lot that's going to be unique and different than maybe what we've ever seen in the world of Star Wars, this ties into that mythological archetype of the sacred weapon and how that empowers the hero to take their destiny to a new place. And I love that.
Like Excalibur or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I thought
and
that
I'm
was
sure
great.
they'll sell them at Doc Ondar's outpost,
yes,
or whatever.
And I will probably be getting one. I think I'm up to 6 legacy lightsabers now.
I can see a mini behind you right now.
There's a couple of them right there. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Anything else you want to add? I mean, we've covered a lot of cool ground here. Was there anything you want to throw in about Star Wars Visions that we haven't discussed yet?
No, I mean, I'd love to come back after we've gotten a chance to watch them.
That's a good idea.
That's, like I said, there's just so much we don't know about it. So, I'm just really excited to kind of dig in. I hopefully we'll get those screeners soon. But I know, really exciting time, I think, for animation on Disney Plus. You brought up the Chippendale Park Life, which I think is fabulous, and it's just really, really great to have so much different animation available to you. Yeah, it's great. I'm very, very excited.
It's fun. I've always wanted to ask you about this. We got just a few minutes left. What was it that initially, was there like a Disney film or an animated short, or was there a certain thing, like what roped you into animation? And because it's certainly one of your love languages. How did you fall in love with animation?
Well, I think it was the fact that I grew up at a time when Disney animation was coming back in a big way. I remember camping out to watch Lion King, when I would have been 10 or 11, so I mean, it was just such a big deal, and it came back in such a big way. And, I talk about this on Twitter a lot, but that animation studio, the satellite studio in Florida, that was part of the theme park, was such a profound thing. Getting to walk through there and see people animating. And, I did a backstage tour one time where we painted our own cell and had one-on-one time with some of the animators and stuff like that. So yeah, I am just constantly in awe of it. and obviously just love it to death. And and Pixar was coming up around the same time too. I mean, Lion King was 94 and Toy Story was 95. I mean, you cannot get a kind of more important nexus of cool animation stuff happening, so it was just one. And Aardman too. I mean, I think about growing up at that time and seeing all this stuff the first time, seeing Miyazaki for the first time, dubbed My Neighbor Totoro put out, but animation was the same and it was still amazing. And I just can't think of a sort of better time to come of age and to fall in love with animation than when I did. So I think that's really it.
I mean, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Aladdin. I mean, that is what studio wouldn't dream to have 4 movies like that in a row. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And even the stuff on TV, Darkwing Duck and Gargoyles and all of that stuff I was super into. And
Gummy Bears.
Yeah. DuckTales, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. It was an amazing time. There was so much being invested in the kind of infrastructure of animation here and abroad that, I'm still obsessed with it, obviously, to this day. I think that was it. That was what kind of lit the spark, to use that Last Jedi terms. Yeah.
I was going to say, thank you for doing that. That's great. I've always wanted to ask you that, and I thought this would be a good forum.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are, with Dan Z, the podcast you're looking for. This is...
As we near the end of the show today, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to have a cup of coffee with me and for helping to spread the word about our Star Wars family we've got here at Coffee with Kenobi. Be sure to tune in Monday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live at www.coffeewithkenobi.com/live or www.facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi and have a cup of coffee, tea, or any beverage of your choosing with me as we continue the conversation. To join us in the CWK Cafe, which is our Facebook group, and share your Star Wars thoughts, comments, reviews, and opinions in a family-friendly, spoiler-free place that is also drama-free, go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/community and be part of the conversation, talk about this week's show, or just talk about some Star Wars. We have a lot of fun, and you'll make some new friends, as well as catch up with longtime friends along the way. I also want to thank all of the new and longtime members of the CWK Alliance and let you know how much I appreciate your help and encouragement. If you want to join the CWK Alliance, go to www.cwkalliance.com and sign up today. Not only will you help out Coffee with Kenobi, but you also get access to CWK Pour-Over, the exclusive weekly podcast not heard anywhere else. It's a great way to support and help out the show, and 10% of your monthly contributions go directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital to support the incredibly important work they are doing to help these brave children and their families. Plus, contributors at the CWK All-Star level can watch a video podcast of CWK Pour-Over hosted by me, Tom Gross, and Corey Clubb. Feel free to reach out anytime if you have any questions. In addition to being part of the community on Facebook, please don't forget to visit our website at www.coffeewithkenobi.com for Star Wars news, announcements, reviews, videos, and so much more. If you have a question for me or just want to share your thoughts on the air, feel free to email me at danz@coffeewithkenobi.com and I'll share them on the show. You can also connect with me on Twitter at Mr. Zaire, MRZEHR, or on Instagram at DanZareCWK. There are also a lot more ways to connect with me and Coffee with Kenobi on social media. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi. Check us out on Pinterest or subscribe to our Coffee with Kenobi YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, you can find Facebook Live video, different interviews throughout the years, highlights of video coverage throughout the Coffee with Kenobi history, and the audio podcast itself. You can order my book, The Star Wars Book, which I co-wrote with Lucasfilm's Pablo Hidalgo and Cole Horton, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Books A Million, Walmart, or anywhere books are sold. You can also find my writing on Coffee with Kenobi's website, as well as StarWars.com, where I'm an official blogger there, and on IGN, where I contribute occasionally to articles about Star Wars, as well as other popular culture topics. If you are considering starting a podcast or a blog, let me know how I can help you get started and make your creative vision a reality. Be sure to check out danzmedia.com and we can get the process started. I am also available to come to your school, conference, business, or organization to talk about how to tap into your strengths and help you bring out your very best. I want to inspire you to be inspired so you can take that first step into a larger world. Thanks as always to our Coffee with Kenobi sponsors, especially MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, our travel partner and your one-stop shop for all things Walt Disney World, Disneyland, the Disney Cruise Lines, or anywhere on the planet you want to go on your vacation. Please go to www.coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel to book your magical vacation and help support Coffee with Kenobi in the process. If you like the show, please tweet out that you're listening, share it on Facebook, or invite your friends and family to tune in and share a cup of coffee with us. And if the Force is especially with you, please take a couple of minutes to rate and review the show on iTunes or Google Podcasts. Every review makes a huge difference and helps to spread the word, and I can't thank you enough for your help, for your support, and your friendship. I love so much being a part of this wonderful Star Wars community, and I can't thank you enough for all that you do for me and Coffee with Kenobi.
Well, Drew, thanks, of course, as always, for being on Coffee with Kenobi. You have a ton of great work that's out there. You are a must-follow on Twitter, naturally, with your kind, altruistic manner on the social media platform. And let everybody know about where they can find you there and all of your great podcasts and all of your work.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yes, you can find me at Drew Tailored, like a tailored shirt, on Instagram and Twitter. And I feel like I am more diplomatic than Dan is giving me credit for, but I will still.
You are. That's great. You're the best.
And then you can listen to me on Fine Tuning, which is part of the Jim Hill Media Network, and also Light the Fuse, which is a podcast dedicated to all things Mission Impossible, which is still going strong. We have some amazing guests almost every week, and if you are sort of into Mission Impossible, but like other things, I think it's a really great sort of look at filmmaking in general, because we talk to every kind of like strata of person in the production. People like Brad Bird, who I'm sure you guys are familiar with, but everybody down. We have the aerial cinematographer who jumped out of the plane with Tom Cruise untold times for Fallout. That's how granular we get. And everybody has amazing stories, so it's really fun. And we did a mini-series earlier this year about John Wick, and we're about to do one for Top Gun Maverick called Like the Fuselage. So, check it out. It's a lot of fun. Please, I kill myself on this stupid podcast. So
no, it's great. It shows, honestly, like it's clearly the best mission. Not only is it the best Mission Impossible podcast, but I think what's important for people to know, and you're very good about not tooting your own home, but you should. It's like a master class in how film is made, like all aspects of film. I feel like I've learned a ton about movies because of Light the Fuse.
Well, we're just so excited to talk to everybody too. I mean, we love these movies so much, and they're such technical marvels too that I feel like cinematography is just amazing. Like, we're just in awe. These movies take so much, and they're working so hard on these next two, and we'll be there for all of it. So come on by.
I love it. Can't wait. Well, hey, thanks again, man, for being back on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Dan. We'll be back. I want to be back for the actual Visions premiere. Let's do it.
You will. You definitely will.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.